So when I ask you a question, feel free to speak up. So this is the right triangle that we're going to talk about. This triangle is going to rotate around the origin and create a unit circle. That's later, but we're just kind of getting things set up. The angle that we're talking about is always going to be on this side. And whatever angle we're talking about, sometimes the angles change. We're just going to refer to that angle as theta. That's the Greek letter theta, just represents the angle that we're talking about. So if this is where my angle is, what side is that? Adjacent, opposite, or hypotenuse?
Adjacent.
Awesome. So kind of write ADJ kind of light, because we are transitioning. We're going to drop this on a coordinate grid. So what we need to start associating adjacent with is the letter X, the X value on a coordinate grid. And what is this side called? Os. And that is going to start transitioning into a Y value. So let me kind of bold out my Y here. All right, so that leaves this is the hypotenuse. Now remember, we're going to create a unit circle. All circles have radii. This is going to turn into a radius. So let's bold out the letter R. All right. So now that we've kind of established that, let's talk about what you already know. You already know some trig ratios. You know cosine of theta, sine of theta, and tangent of theta. You know those. Those are called the trig ratios that you learned. What you have not learned is their reciprocals. Sometimes they're called co-trig ratios. Just remember they are reciprocals. So the reciprocal of cosine is called secant. It's denoted by SEC. Under here, I'll just write the word because I know you haven't seen that before. That's going to be the secant of theta. Your sine is cosecant, which is CSC, cosecant. So I know those don't really sound like they would match up, but tangent does. The reciprocal for tangent is cotangent, and we just write as COT. All right, so now guys, you have 6 trig ratios. And tangent is extra. So I'm going to put a little asterisk down here for tangent and cotangent because they have a little bit of extra information. And the extra information for tangent is you can also find tangent by dividing sine by cosine. And for cotangent, it's the reciprocal. So it's going to be cosine divided by tangent. All right, so we got a little setup here, guys. We're going to be writing these formats like 3 or 4 times today, but y'all, it's Friday. So you might have these memorized, but when you come back on Monday, you'll probably forget them. So if I write it down, you write it down because practice makes perfect. All right, for cosine, what was cosine in the SOHCAHTOA? What were the 2 sides? Adjacent over, yes, but we're not using those words anymore. We're using XYR. So cosine is X over Y. Remember, sine used to be opposite over hypotenuse. Sine is, oh, that's a mistake. Now we have ugly notes. I'm sorry. Cross that out. That's an R. I apologize to you. All right, for sine, now we're going to have y, which is opposite over hypotenuse, y over r. And tangent will never have r. It's never going to have the radius. Tangent, remember, is opposite, write the letter y, over adjacent, but now we're going to write the letter x. All right, over here, just flip these upside down. So secant is going to be radius over x. Cosecant is going to be radius over y. And cotangent is x over y. And with a right triangle is always the Pythagorean theorem. So sometimes, guys, especially for the next couple of days, we're going to use our ABCs to find some missing sides. So just remember this is a squared, or this is a, b, and c. And remember to find the Pythagorean theorem, to find the sides, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You're going to be using that today. Also, I'm going to give you some triples to memorize. Do y'all know what Pythagorean triples are? Yes. So, if you don't know what Pythagorean triples are, hold on, I can't write at the same time. Pythagorean triples. All a Pythagorean triple is, it's just the measures of a right triangle. And they're pretty much used like 3 or 4 times in each worksheet. So if you can remember these, you will not have to do all this. Memorize these, you won't have to do these. I believe Victoria knows one of them. What is it?
3, 4, 5.
Yes, yes, yes. So one of the triples is 3, 4, 5. And guys, all that means is if side A is 3 and side 4 is, if A is 3 and B is 4, then the hypotenuse is always 5. And they can be multiplied by a scale factor. So if this is 6 and that's 8, what is the final measurement? Times 2. 10. What if they were times 3? 9, 12,
15.
yes. You're going to see those. Another one that's pretty common, if the A value is 5 and the B value is 12, the C value is 13. You're going to see that a few times in this packet. There's 2 more that I'm going to give you. They appear like once or twice. You don't have to worry about memorizing these. One of them is 7, 24, 25. And the last one that you see, I think it's once, is 9, 40, 41. So those are just some tools to help us get started.